Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, guys. Today we're going to talk about the two types of dawah. Okay, so the first type is inter-religious dawah, where you're calling other people to Islam. Okay, so atheists, Christians, or people that don't believe in Islam, for instance, that's one type of dawah. Okay, so that's one most people start with, and that's why I started with, like, let's call people to Islam, right? Now, this dawah this one is easier because all you have to do is persuade them, whether you have some arguments or you make them think about their positions, or for instance you can even persuade them with, like, being good to them and stuff like that. That's one type of dawah. Okay, the second type of dawah is what happens when someone accepts Islam. Okay, so the first type of dawah, where you're calling people to Islam, what kind of Islam are you calling them to? That's the part that most people don't want to talk about. For instance, if a Shia is doing dawah, calling people to Islam, when that person wants to accept Islam, is he going to become a Shi'i or a Sunni, or is he going to become a Salafi or Ashari or something like this? That's the second type that and that's why you see some people, they don't want to work with each other because they think we can't work together, because which Islam is he going to accept when he becomes a Muslim, right? So that's where the second type of dawah comes in, intra-Islamic dawah. Okay, and I actually opened a playlist on my channel where I talk about intra-Islamic stuff, because I found out, like, no one told me, but when I started this, I was just calling people to Islam and normal, like, Islam versus all the other religious beliefs and disbeliefs, and then I put something about Akida, and someone was like, so this is your Akida? And I'm like, no, I just thought like it was normal, but no, it wasn't. That Akida that I put there, that guy disagrees with it, and he's not gonna have any of it. In fact, they don't want to listen to what I have to say anymore. That's how serious it is. So once they found out that this guy is talking about this kind of Akida, they don't want to talk about you anymore, because they don't want people accepting Islam to have that Akida. Okay, because they believe it's false. That's where the intra-Islamic dawah comes in. Now, to me, like, some people will even say, which one is more important? Some people will say that the most important one is actually intra-Islamic dawah, helping people have the right akida, helping people have the right understanding. The people that are already Muslims, keeping them in. You know, you might even say that many people that do dawah is actually for the Muslims, not necessarily for the people that are outside, because the Muslims have doubts. The Muslims are thinking about that. In a way, you are trying to close off any chance of a Muslim thinking about that. And for the Christians, it's the same too. When they do dawah and they insult Islam, you think they are really trying to call Muslims? No, they are trying to make Islam look distasteful to the Christians, so that they will never even think of becoming Muslims. That's what they are actually trying to do. Anyway, so you see these two types. One is inter-religious, where Islam versus everybody else, and then there's intra-Islamic dawah. This is where, now, when you're doing inter-religious dawah, it's easy. You can just present Islam and say, look, at your whole position is false and stuff like that, and you can talk about truth. Okay, mostly you're going to be talking about to atheists, okay, or Christians that believe in, anyway. But when you come to intra-Islamic dawah, that's when things become sophisticated. That's when things become, it's not so easy. It's not so easy to point out. It's not so easy to make your view the correct one. You know, when even I pointed this out in another video. There's something called the Pascal's wager. The Pascal's wager is the idea that the Christians, like, they use, that when you're talking to an atheist, you will say, oh, if I don't become an atheist, I have nothing to lose. But if you don't become a theist, you have everything to lose, because there will be hellfire and all of that. But if I don't become an atheist, I have nothing to lose. Even if I die, it will just be over, right? So they use this idea to show that you have everything to gain and nothing to lose, which makes the atheist position untenable. That's the whole idea. But you cannot, when you use that, you can only use that with the atheist. You cannot use that with the theist, like Muslims. You cannot. It doesn't make sense, because you have everything to lose if you don't join us too. Now, you cannot use that kind of policy when you're talking intra-Islamic stuff. You cannot go and meet a Salafi and use Pascal's wager. It's not going to work, right? Because if you're wrong, then if he's right, then you're wrong. Something like that. So anyway, I just wanted to show you there are two types. You can either go into one of them. Okay. Most people just stick with inter-religious dawah, but the intra-Islamic one, that's interesting. I find it interesting because it's a chance for you to even study your own faith. you get to know, like, all these arguments I'm presenting against other people, some of us have it too. In Islam, there are people that are holding those kind of views. How do I know which one is true? So when you start saying truth, you know, you get lost when you talk about intra-Islamic stuff, because it's just gonna be your opinion. Whether you want to accept that or not, it's going to be your opinion. And if your opinion doesn't make sense, I'm sorry, people are not gonna accept it. Okay. So anyway, like, I just wanted to share that with you. You will see this. You will find it out if you continue long enough. To see, like, if people find out like your akida is like, if you're Ashari or or Salafi or something, they might not necessarily want to work with you. Those are very serious with this stuff. Okay, so they will focus more. And yeah, I was about to say, like, which one is more important? Which one do you think is more important? Is it inter-religious dawah or intra-Islamic dawah? I'm sure some people will argue it's actually intra-Islamic one, because some people, if you think you're a Muslim and you have a wrong belief and you're sitting down on it, you're much more comfortable than if you're atheist. Like, you know, like, I'm not standing on anything, I should probably go back. But if you are someone that already think you have the right belief and you're wrong, that is that is why some people would think it's much more important to actually help people find the right path. What is that right path? That is the whole point of the argument. That's what we are trying to find. Unfortunately, that's what people are arguing, refuting each other, destroying each other. You see two guys. When you see two guys, for instance, Muhammad Hijab and what was his name? Shamsi, or people like this, Brother Shamsi. When you see them arguing with each other, this is what's happening. That's when it comes to intra-Islamic stuff. Inter-Islamic, they can even agree to go and talk to the Christians or this thing, but intra-Islamic, they are going to disagree, and you see that fight that's going to happen. So now, you might not even know your own position before this. You might just think like, Islam is true. When you say that statement, Islam is true, what Islam are you talking about? To be fair, like, see, this is where some of us that say, let's be neutral, let's just do basic Islam. Basic Islam is probably like, you don't talk about Aqidah stuff, you just believe in Allah and His Messenger, and you do your 5 pillars, and you have the 6 articles of faith. That is Islam I'm calling people to. There's literally a sister that became Muslim. That's what I told her. Okay, that's what I told her. I didn't tell her about Aqidah or something like this. You know. So I'm saying, do we really need to go into deep like that? But anyway, you will find out anyway. If you want to seek knowledge and everything like that, you end up finding out which Aqidah you want to choose, which one is correct. See, how do you do that? You know, even after some time, you're going to get tired of this inter-religious dawah, because talking to other people's, like, you get bored, man. I'm serious. Like, to get to a point, I think you get bored. But when you do intra-Islamic stuff, it's actually personal. It's personal because now it's about you. It's about your belief. How are you going to justify your own Aqidah, for instance? As someone, now you talk about truth. Now, what is the truth intra-Islamically? Which one is true? Salafi or Ashari or any of this? How are you going to know? How are you going to know which one is true? You might not. It's not as easy as you think. I've been on this for like months, man. But me, I'm just saying, I'm going back to that baseline. I'm saying, what is the main point of Islam? Those 5 pillars of faith, the 6 articles of belief. Those are the core fundamentals. If someone prays Salah and he's fast and he does all those normal things, he believes in La ilaha illallah. If you want to go and be asking him deep questions, all these deep questions, it's probably going to make a mistake. It's probably might not know all these things, right? But me, I'm not scared of it, of course. I like actually this kind of discussions. But I'm saying for the masses, do we really need to divide over this? You know, some people actually don't want, you know, when and I don't blame them. So when you know there's sects, of course. Like, for instance, let me give you like Salafi and Ashari. So if somebody, even inside Salafi, by the way, inside Salafi, that's another one you can talk about. There's dawah. They can even do dawah to themselves. Like, are you going to do dawah to me because I'm an Ashari? Should you be doing dawah to me, or I should be doing dawah to you? Dawah now, it seems like, hey, we are doing dawah. What dawah are you doing, right? At one point, we should maybe change the name to like discussions or something. Like, we shouldn't call it. Should we call it dawah? Because to call something dawah, it means you're calling people towards the truth, right? You're calling people towards the truth. And you're presupposing that they don't have the truth. So, if you're a Salafi and you're doing dawah to the Ashari, you're presupposing that the Ashari he's on battle and you're on the hack. Therefore, you're doing dawah to him to call him back, right? And he will do the same to you as well. so, so it's very interesting. I just wanted to share that with you. Be aware of these two types of dawah. You might choose anyone that you're interested in. You see, like, it's already saturated, this type of when you talk about Christians and atheists, it's already saturated. You can actually go and study intra-Islamic dawah. It's going to be, people are going to refute you. It's much more difficult to do. You have to be very knowledgeable to do dawah. Anybody can do dawah to atheists, anybody can do dawah to Christians, but to do dawah in intra-Islamic stuff, you have to be meticulous. What's the word? You have to do much more work. And yeah, it's either you're going to become a sectarian, where you will just take a position and start bashing everybody with your armor of, hey, this is the truth, or you're going to actually try to find out which one is actually true. And that's what I'm trying to do. Actually, I'm not just going to take one position and run away with it. I'm trying to, like, to look and wait a little bit to see and try to find out myself on my own which one is true. I'm not going to take what your sheikh said, because there are two sheikhs, all of them knowledgeable, and they disagree. The only way you find the truth is maybe you yourself have to try and see which one makes sense to you at the end of the day. At that point, you just have to leave it at that. If not, you're going to be a polemicist and you just insult people. You will never understand why they don't get you. Because things are getting deeper, man. Imagine a Hanafi and a Maliki arguing about doing dawah. Should they be doing dawah to each other? Not necessarily, right? Anyway, guys, I know this is like a topic you might not be aware of this, so I just want to share that with you. See you guys later. Let me see what you think in the comment section. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.